Hey, welcome to a Real Estate Wisdom podcast. A Real Estate Wisdom podcast where we talk about Canadian real estate and provide you insights in what trends are going in Canadian real estate market, specifically GTA, Greater Toronto Area. My name is Vishal Kapoor, your friend in real estate, working with Century 21 Miller Real Estate in Oakville. And today I'm going to talk about the complex landscape of Toronto's condo market in 2024. We'll explore the challenges faced by developers and buyers, the importance of property layout, and the significant impact of rising development charges. So let's dive in. The Toronto condo market has seen significant changes in 2024. According to latest data from the Toronto Real Estate Board, TREB, condo sales have hit their lowest point since 2009 financial crisis. And several factors are contributing to this decline. First of all, we all know how much rising interest rates have affected the real estate market. The Bank of Canada benchmark interest rate has steadily risen. Now we're seeing some cut, but it's not going to get that quickly that we can recover because damages already have done. And it will take time to recover from there for sure. So rising interest rate making mortgages more expensive and deterring potential buyers. Other thing happened, increased supply. There has been a significant increase in the number of new condo listings, leading to a more competitive market. In May 2024, the Toronto area saw a 30% increase in new condo listings compared to the previous year. That's huge. And I believe like most of those ones coming out because of the lot of investors have invested in there. And right now, like a lot of people struggling in not able to close that. So we're also seeing not only the like people who are able to close, but also their assignment sales as well. But here are the other factors as well, and we're going to talk about like a one by one on each segment. Economic uncertainty, economic pressures, including high inflation and potential recession fears, have made investors more cautious. Changing buyer preferences, like this is a big one, and the pandemic has shifted some buyers' preferences towards more spacious properties in suburban areas rather than compact condos in the city center. I know these days you go and see these condos like at the shoebox style. But that's what, mom and pop kind of investor can invest in because of the price, right? And it's like a $1,500 square feet was in downtown Toronto and Toronto area, which have dropped to like $1,300 per square feet. So cost is pretty high, right? And you're not getting the return of investment that much, right? So buyer preferences have changed. Record completions happen. Well, I'll be surprised to see that. Like we were saying that a lot of construction's not happening, but nearly 32,000 new condo units were projected to be completed in the GTA in this was like a last year data, actually is 2023, with a further record of 26,934 units scheduled for occupancy in 2024. So out of those ones, a lot of people not able to close because when they purchased those properties like 3 years, 4 years ago, when the peak time, and people who have purchased in peak time, they are struggling because the appreciation is not coming out for those ones, correct? So these factors have led to a shift in the market dynamics, with the average price for the condo in the Toronto area decreasing by 3% year over year to $754,500 526 in May 2024. Now, we have looked into when people doing the investment, and this is what I think what happened. And a lot of in the condos, people buying as an investor. But not so experienced investors, what mistake they do is they just go and buy it and thinking about this as rental property. And I'm buying it, this rental market is going high, and this is an investment. So I don't have to worry about a layout or anything. It's just a rental property. Well, that's a big mistake. A lot of people do big mistake. I tell my clients all the time that when you're buying the investment property, think about that way. If you have to live in that property, are you going to live? Anything can happen in life, right? But are you able to live in that property? Is the kitchen layout, is a washroom, windows, lighting, is that going to work for you or not? Right? So always think about that. So, and especially in this challenging market, the layout of investor properties has become increasingly important. A well-designed layout can significantly impact both rental income and resale value. And here are some key reasons why a layout matters, right? Maximizing space utilization, right? Efficient layouts ensure that every square foot of the property is used effectively, which is particularly important in smaller condos. So the one concept we're seeing a long time, because we have the small layout and shoebox styles condos these days, people are going to live there forever. And most of these properties become a rental properties, right? Even for the rental property, when you have so many options and, our demands have changed, our priorities have changed. Now everybody's working from home, or if not everybody, but at least it's got hybrid. Some percentage of the time people working. And who knows, if something else happened, just like COVID, I got forbid not. However, I'm hearing some COVID cases. Today, my videographer was not able to come because his family was affected with COVID, believe me or not. So, well, anything can happen, right? So we have to be prepared for that as well. And we might be working from home. And in some companies also, they allow people to work from home anyway. So people need space. So make sure when you're buying the property, and even a smaller, 700 square feet, let's say, or 800 square feet, make sure the layout is such a way that is going to fulfill the needs. People can have space in the corner or something where they can make an office. Some buildings are smart, some builders are smart. They already making those kind of layouts, but not all of them. And when things were selling fast and quick and market was crazy, anything I was mentioning in my previous podcast as well, anything was selling, right? And people were just buying it like they're buying grocery. But now even the grocery price has gone up high, So I would say that's the one thing you have to look into, maximizing the space utilization, how each corner, because it's already small. But if there's a pillar at the corner which is making your small living room already more smaller, I will say, then that's going to affect for sure. And you're thinking how somebody's going to fit the couch, or how they're going to work on that area, right? And who's going to be a potential tenant for that? If you're just focusing on student, for example, or a single person, I can tell you, I live myself, but anything less than 2 bedroom, it's very, less spacious for me. And it's 700 square feet, 700 square feet, less than 700 square feet is very, very, congested and hard to fit anything in there. The other thing is very important to look into natural light and ventilation. Well, properties with layouts that maximize natural light and ventilation are more desirable to both renters and buyers. So you're making more, looking into that, what's going to work. Everybody loves great light. When I was purchasing my condo, the biggest need I had was I don't like dark places, and had the full windows in all my rooms, like in the 2 bedrooms, both sides, and my living room. And you see the light and where it's facing, and the light is coming in. No obstruction in front of the building, which is not necessary that you're going to get in every condo, but that should be your priority if you're looking as an investor. Other areas, like, you can look into, but if something else like compensating for the natural light, if the enough light is there. So natural light and ventilation is another important part. People don't consider a lot of time, because most of the time we staying inside during winter, and we don't even open our windows, but not considering like what's going to happen in summer, right? So make sure natural light and ventilation is happening, is there, and flow and accessibility is the other part, right? I know like a lot of people don't like cooking at home these days, but at the same time, like during COVID also happened, everybody was cooking from home. So kitchen was the most important thing. How you access your kitchen. Is that on the wall, kitchen will help? Is that sufficient? You don't need any other counter space to do the cutting or serving or anything? Then you might be fine, right? But most of the time, that are the needs for the people. And even you're buying those kind of property, that's not going to serve everyone, because there were only few people going to be there who don't cook at home. They're probably just warming their food, or they're just using the oven, but they don't need for prep anything. So that thing need to be considered. And people, when everything is selling, like I said, it can sell. But always look into the time like this, what we're going on right now, what the worst case scenario is going to happen. In that worst case scenario, is that possible that it might not sell or even not rent out? Even you're buying something and you're thinking like, oh, there's too much money right now I'm putting in there. I might put something later and I can invest in there. Look for like a future modifications, like flexible layouts that allow for easy update or extensions, and can be a significant advantage in meeting changing market demands. So have that flexibility. However, like not many condos will allow you to do so. And in some of them, you might able to do it, like, it's a big room or the open area, which you can convert into den. So look into that flexibility as well. Like there are some options. Now, these are talking about like one of the issues going on, because most of the properties are investment properties, and a lot of people haven't considered, because they think like, I'm not going to live there. And people who's going to live there also, they're not going to live there for a year or two. Then the next person will come in who might require that. New immigrants come in like who have no idea what suburbs look like, and they think like this is the only place where they can live. So that's the big thing when you're investing, making sure you have a good layout. Now, the impact of rising development charges, I can go like whole day all about it. And that's the most significant challenges facing by Toronto's condo market in 2024 is the rapid increase in development charges. And these charges imposed by municipalities on new development projects have risen dramatically in recent years. I know I was attending one of the seminar it was a panel discussion actually, and Toronto Real Estate Board, Regional Real Estate Board, and it was about like the condo market. And there was a developer, there was like an investor, there was like a CMHC, and I was like spellbound, like how much development charges have been increased just in Toronto area. So as of June 6th, 2024, development charges for a one-bedroom condo in Toronto increased to $52,676, up from $44,774 in May 2024, and $37,081 in August 2023. And I have to look into this data over here because when I put this over here, this was the data was available. And so we have some 52,000 up from 44,000 in May 24, and from August, 37,000 to 52,000. So that's a huge change. And this represents a staggering 42% increase in less than a year. Imagine. And say like, yeah, builders charging so much, and that's why we don't see the builder prices came down. We might see in the condo prices, like a new projects coming in, they are giving some incentives because some of the condos not selling, but the price didn't come out, or prices didn't come down, I would say, right? So, and these impact of these rising charges is multifaceted. First of all, definitely is the increased cost for developers, and these charges significantly increase the cost of building new condos, potentially slowing down new construction. And we're going to see that. Like, we already have seen that. Like the past projects, they're completing it right now, but we're going to see the same surge after 2-3 years. However, I believe like we have more than 2 years inventory right now for condos. So it will take time to condos to come back to even the current market or the previous market. I don't know when that's going to come in. So it's a long haul. And investor cannot wait for that long. They can wait for a year or two for not getting the return on investment, paying from their pocket. But, this is the case. Like, increased costs for developers have been increased. And that's goes where? Like, buyers pay it, right? So that's why it's the higher prices for buyer. Developers often pass these costs onto buyers, making condo less affordable. And that's why we're seeing like the prices haven't come down that much. And a lot of people even leaving the deposit behind, and they just want to get rid of it. Like forget about it because I cannot pay additional. I cannot bear additional cost because no return on investment. I'm doing the negative on that, right? Market slowdown. The combination of buyer cost and economic uncertainty has led to fewer new project launches and slower sales. Potential for future price increases. Well, as construction slow down due to these increased costs, we may see a supply shortage in the future, potentially driving up to prices. Like that's what I said. Like maybe in 2 years or 3 years, or maybe 4 years, right? After 3 years, I don't think that's before 2 years things going to happen. So we are already in halfway 2024. We're just finishing in. I know Canada Day is coming in. Happy Canada Day. And can't believe that's 2024 already passed half, and we have 6 months left. So if I calculate right, like if I'm saying 2 years, I will say 2026 or 2027, then we can see some stability in condo market because hopefully, interest rate go down, buyers can afford, and investors willing to invest, looking into that opportunities out there. And there are investors right now who are looking at opportunities where they can get at the same price what the people have bought like 2 years or 3 years ago, or even lower. So Some of the cases, it might happen. We'll see. But it's worth noting that Toronto's development charges are now significantly higher than the other major Canadian cities. Like, for example, the average government charge per square foot in Toronto is $86 compared to $70 in Vancouver and $24 in Montreal. So Toronto market, condo market, is getting affected even more than Vancouver market. In Montreal, like, was behind anyway, and their development charges way less. But yeah, this is the things. Government charging the taxes everywhere, federal, provincial, municipal, and then they say, hey, we are also giving an incentive. They're taking money from you and they're giving incentive. I know government have to run, but at the same time, manage your expenses. Like, where you spending, government? That's what I say. Like, where you spending your money? That matters. In whole scenarios, like, I think the allocation of money, where they're spending, it's totally messed up. That's all I want to say. I don't want to start on the politics, but yeah, I'm not the politician. I don't know. They probably have done their work, economist, but some common sense is not there for sure. Anyway, moving on, we also have the rental market crisis in condo segment. We were seeing challenges to condo sales market. The rental market is facing its own crisis, and particularly for family size unit, according to a recent CBC report. First of all, the scarcity of 3-bedroom rentals. We haven't made like 3-bedroom rentals. We don't make 3-bedroom rentals anymore. Very few, if there any. So finding a 3-bedroom rental has become increasingly difficult across major Canadian cities. High rental prices. The average price for a 3-bedroom rental, Toronto, was $3,638 per month in May 2024. For that price, you can get the townhouse in a lot of areas, even in Oakville, right? So, so that's what the reason, like, that's what they're not renting out for that price. But like, first of all, it's not available that much. But when people looking into, it's like, that's option is like the Toronto or suburb outside Toronto is looking for property, which is, but at the same time, you're also looking into people who has to commute, like, use additional cost on commuting, and that adds up in your expenses as well. So people who wants to live in Toronto downtown for convenience and everything, but they couldn't find anything like that, right? So that's the other things. Other factors contributing to the shortage is these include high construction costs, zoning and building codes that drive up the size of cost of multi-bedroom apartments, and developer preferences for smaller units. Well, the developer also prefer smaller units for 3 bedrooms. Like, getting the approval and everything is, I believe it's difficult or more process. And I know this is like, he, like, a builder's proposing that, or, what they getting suggested by the municipality, because that's what their demands, like how many units you have to do. But yeah, it's when everything was selling, everybody was getting greedy, and they would say, hey, I can make more on that and can make more money. And even investors were thinking, like, doesn't matter, it's a small size, but this is the future, what it looks like. I'm going to invest, I'm going to make a tons of money. But guess what? Nobody guessed like this is going to happen like this way, that interest rate is going to get increased so many times that you can't even think about closing the condo you purchased. So this rental market crisis presents both challenges and opportunities, I will say, that for investors. While it's more difficult to find affordable family-sized rentals, investors who can provide such units may see strong demand and stable rental income. So older buildings, not looking to newer ones, maybe the older buildings, like, people who are selling there, they want to get out of it. Like that's the good opportunity. But somehow the other factors are there. Like for older buildings, there's also condo fees are higher. It's not like a newer ones is less, but older buildings, most of the older buildings now have gone up to 700 to 1,000 or even 1,100 for maintenance fee. So that's add up on the cost. Like so, it's for investors is not lucrative. And I used to say that, like, I was not the big fan of condos investment for a long time. And that's my own personal reason, that because maintenance fee, because you don't have control over there, how much that going to increase. There's some plus and minuses, I will say. But at the same time, if you have a townhouse, for example, and also for mortgage perspective as well, how I was looking into is if you're buying, let's say, 800,000 worth of condo, and there's a $500 to $600, let's say, average is the your maintenance fee, then that adds up to like 100,000 worth of mortgage, even like these days, probably more. Like a less mortgage, I should say. But yeah, so it's 900,000. For 900,000, you can get the townhouse. You don't have to worry about maintenance fee. And appreciation is going to go faster or quicker than the condo, for sure. So that's my thought. Like, it's like condo market, it's bad. Like, yeah, right now it's really, really bad. But in general as well, I always prefer and always recommend my investors to be safe side, to buy townhouses versus condo. So strategies for investors, given these market conditions, what strategies can investor consider? I will say, first of all, if you already have something, focus on layout improvements. Investing in properties with good layouts or making layouts improvements can enhance a property's appeal and value. Consider family size units, right? If you're looking for the unit, given the shortage of 3-bedroom rentals, investors might find opportunities in this niche market. Be cautious with pre-construction. With rising development charges, carefully evaluate the cost and potential returns of pre-construction investments. I know, like, I have my client, his closing is coming out soon in July, something he bought in Burlington. And the one cost he didn't consider is development charge. And because like development charges have increased, which I just mentioned over there, he's short of like around 15 to 20,000, I believe. How he's going to manage it? Well, he's okay. He can manage that, but at the same time, that's additional cost which you never budgeted for. So that's going to be an issue. I would say, like, stay informed. Keep a close eye on market trends, development charge updates, and economic indicators. I don't think like in any time it happens like, taxes gone up and they go down, that government is going to take less, or municipality is going to take less. But hey, who knows? Things can change. Maybe the new government come in and they can do some magic. They do have some magic wand and can fix all these problems, but it's not going to take like sooner. It's going to take years for sure. What damage have been done? I think like we're behind 10 years now. In general, Canada is behind. They put Canada behind 10 years. That's my thought. But I will say, like, the other thing which you can do is leverage like a professional advice. Work with the real estate professionals who understand the nuances of Toronto's complex condo market. It will be interesting to see because there's a lot of condos on sale, and you're probably seeing all the time, even on your inbox, coming from like a lot of realtors, assignment sales, greater assignment sales. and great opportunity. Market is going to go up, but be careful. Do your studies. Take that opinion from, first of all, look into that, like that realtor. How trustworthy is that, right? And when they're trying to sell you something, is that really going to fit your need? Like, I don't think like anybody push you to buy it, but sometimes, depending upon the salesperson's style and giving it all those rosy promises and everything, because they want to get rid of that. They're working for their sellers or builder, and they were putting like all those lucrative things, which looks great on papers, but in actuality, it might not be true. Okay, so not only professional advice, but also the look into advice people who have already purchased it. They might be in the same scenario, and try to get like some neutral, like a both side things, like what the worst case scenario going to happen, right? So be very careful while there's opportunities out there, but be cautious about it. That's my advice. Okay. Well, that's all for today's episode of Real Estate Wisdom. We covered a lot of ground today, from the current state of Toronto's condo market to the impact of rising development charges and the importance of property layout. Remember, in this challenging market, informed decisions are more crucial than ever. And if you have any questions or topics you like us to cover in future episodes, feel free to reach out. And, I'm also looking for people from the community, maybe the other realtor, mortgage agent, or lawyer, or somebody like, as a guest, like you want to contribute, as a listener, you want to contribute, reach out to me. I'll happy to bring you as a guest, and I will see how it can be valuable to rest of us. So it's like the community, right? I don't know everything, but one thing I know, I have a great information, sources where I can get the information. Not only the information I analyze from what the data has been provided or studies they provided, economic updates. I regularly update and get those ones. I listen to the other podcasters as well, like what they have to say. And I also work on the ground level. So what the sentiments coming out from my buyers or sellers, developers. So I look into like a 360-degree approach when I'm providing these information. And sometimes I probably miss some information, but most crucial ones I try to cover in these podcasts. So if you're interested, reach out to me and I'll be happy to engage in a dialogue and we can go from there. Thanks for tuning in. As always, appreciate your comments, appreciate your appreciation, and thank you to those listeners who started calling me now and asking for advice. I got the call the other day when they want the advice that as a tenant perspective, their seller wants to sell and they're going away for a while. So they were saying what should I do? Do I have to leave because he wants to move in or landlord wants to move in and he wants for his own use. That's what they said. But so I said, best thing to do is talk to them and come out to the terms which is mutually beneficial for each other. You're not going to get any benefit. If you want to reduce your stress financially as well as mentally, come to the table and talk like a human being and resolve those issues rather than waiting for 8 months, 10 months to go into LTB. And if you're tenant, also consider that, one day you'll probably be the landlord and you will face the same situation as well that's required. So be kind and try to understand each other's problems and solve those problems. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you next time. And by the way, happy Canada Day. This podcast is for informational purpose only and should not be considered as financial or investment advice. Consult with your professional before making any real estate decisions.